Hello, Tania Doko. Welcome to The Buzz with Bernadette.
Great to connect.
It's so nice to have you on here. Of course, you are a well-known Australian singer, songwriter and performer. You're best recognised as one half of the successful duo Bachelor Girl. Now, that they were famous for the hit song Buses and Trains, which was one of the most well-known, mostly played Australian songs, and also one of my favourite songs was Permission to Shine. That was one of my absolute favourite songs. So are you now focusing on your solo career, or are you now juggling both? Are you still got a little bit to do with Bachelor Girl?
Yeah, Bernadette, I am juggling both. Not exactly at the same time, but I guess you can't do. I don't really. I mean, there is a bit of multitasking going on, but Bachelor Girl right now is taking my focus again. Although last year and early this year, my solo career was very much front of mind, and I released my first solo EP in a very long time, and that record included Harder Now and Where Do We Go Now, those two singles. And I was so stoked to finally release that material that I mostly made in Sweden. But now with the 25th anniversary of Bachelor Girl, we are reimagining our debut album in a surprise way that I can't speak about yet. No, I mean, we're basically having fun with all those tunes, reimagining them quite literally, and I'll keep you posted on when that will be released.
Please do. And just going back, so you were living in Sweden for a while, weren't you? Quite a while.
Yeah, so we were there for 10 years. I was there for 10 years, and I met my husband and I had my child there. So it was very much a case of I wasn't going anywhere once I married. But, I mean, I really did marry the country very quickly because I was there as a songwriter, a songwriter for hire. And icing on the cake was meeting my husband. And, of course, that, I mean, I went as an actual Bachelor Girl and came back as a married woman.
Can you speak any Swedish?
Yeah.
Did you learn the language while you're there, obviously?
Well, I did. I probably could have done more, but I didn't. I mean, the Swedes are very good with their English, so it means one can get a little lazy with diving into the language to the extent that I could say that I was fluent. But let's say I have Swinglish, and I can be understood, and I can get by. Survival Swedish, as one would call it.
That's good. Now, you're known for your really good songwriting skills. Now, what's the most famous artist you've written a song for?
Well, I'd probably say Tina Arena here in Australia, because and we became great friends
through one of my faves.
Yeah, through her album Love Saves, that was released last year as well, and it was a beautiful, creative family that we collaborated with. So,
Tina Arena, did you guys do a duo together, or were you tempted to do a duo together?
So Tina did actually sing on my single Harder Now, which was the first release of my EP. She does what we call a cameo, if you like. Yeah. I also sang a lot of backing vocals on her album. So you could say we have sung together. Yes, we have, in the studio, mostly.
I would say two of the most favourite voices in Australia.
Thank you so much.
Honestly.
Thank you.
And one of your friends, Eric Bazillion, was here. I saw you do quite a few videos with him on your Instagram. So tell me how that came about, and what sort of a project you did with him.
So Eric and I also connected in Sweden because we both married Swedes. We were going to call the tour "We Married Swedes," but we thought that might sound like a theatre show or something. what
Yeah.
it was Eric and his beautiful wife Sarah. Well, we're all very good friends, and they're really wanting to get to Australia. And when we sort of bounced the idea, and then we came up with this wild idea for us to do shows together in Australia, and that we did. So we celebrated Eric's artist songs, both as a solo artist and in the epic 80s band, The Hooters.
Yes.
Celebrated our Bachelor Girl, my solo material, and then songs that we collaborated on in Sweden. And also Eric's songs that he's written for other extraordinary artists like Joan Osborne, One of Us, and Cyndi Lauper that he
Oh, wow.
collaborated with and played guitars on her big album, She's So Unusual. So there was
Yeah.
quite a lot of meat on the bone, you could say, and
Yeah.
storytelling and a bit of comedy in there to boot. So we travelled the East Coast and Adelaide, not to Perth, but
Yeah.
I am coming to
Unfortunately.
Perth early next year and have to keep you updated, Bernadette, on those shows.
Excellent. I
On a
really hope
big
we
tour.
can get together again, like
Yeah,
later in the year, and talk
sure.
about that project that you have coming up in Perth. When you were first starting out, like, do you remember the moment when you actually were like rehearsing or gigging or whatever, and you just thought, oh my God, this could actually be something? Like, this song could actually be something, we could actually make it? Do you remember that feeling?
Well, I think you have these good senses or little epiphanies along the way, but one can never be cocky. I think
No.
by default, artists are particularly, or generally, we're sensitive souls because we are we transmit these feelings and need to be sensitive. Otherwise, we're not
Yeah.
receptive of emotions and human behavior. So, therefore, it makes us um, really practice self belief. Like we know that we need to believe in ourselves and each other, our teams. But you also, the other side of it, we can be quite insecure. And by that I mean, because we need to be vulnerable and
Because
we're
vulnerable, yeah.
exposed. So we're a bit of a we're walking paradoxes. So you might have a feeling, but we all know the
But
music industry
yeah,
isn't full, and there's no guarantees. So
I know.
there's
It's
just
like you could
feelings.
vibe with it 100%, but what if no one else gets it? And because
Yeah,
you've been on that journey that
yeah,
whole time creating this little song, this baby, and
yes,
what if nobody else, feels it the way you feel it?
that's right.
So
Oh, I've had a
that
million of those songs. Some of my favourite songs that I've ever been a part of have not seen the light of day. They're in my, they're in
really?
my on my hard disks, etc.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of songs that have not been released, but and moons have to align. That's a bit of a
mm,
cliche, but it, the right artist at the right time with the right song, whatever right means. But there's a bit of serendipity that needs to happen,
yeah.
and
That's
you keep going, and you never know. You might write a song, and 15 years later, it is released by said artist or yourself. A lot of the songs on my EP were my favourite songs I'd written in Sweden, but they were ultimately probably always mine, but I just didn't know it at the time.
yeah.
So then
Yeah.
I committed to myself, I backed myself, and I released them. So that was very life
Yeah.
affirming.
And that's another thing, like you might write a song and it just might not be right for this time. Like it might,
Yes,
yeah, because music
yes.
progresses or it circles back and comes around. And then sometimes, it's right for 5 years' time or whatever. So
I think
it's
about that for buses and trains when we released it in the US by the legendary Clive Davis, huge A&R over there. Uh,
amazing.
he, you know, it predated Katy Perry and all this kind of sarcastic lyric that she used to do. Not right now,
Yeah.
and maybe without sounding facetious, it was sort of lyrically ahead of its time. I mean, all credit to James because the sarcasm in the US they weren't really ready for it.
Yeah.
They didn't really do sarcasm, and now we
Yeah.
have all sorts of artists who do that and take the piss
Yeah.
and there's just a plethora of those kind of artists. So perhaps that's what happened with buses, and where it did get airplay, it did very well, but it didn't penetrate, enough states, and then he resigned, and that was the end of our American dream. They didn't sort of push it for long enough.
Yeah, that's one of those things, I
Yeah,
guess.
it is
Um,
timing.
yeah, it's all timing.
Mm.
So, and I'm sure you've been out many times and your song has played, if you've been out in a pub, shopping centre, or maybe even overseas. Has it ever happened where you've been overseas and your song started playing? Do you sing along? Do you get embarrassed? Do you like vibe with it?
Uh, these days I can be pretty anonymous, but I mean the funny places are just up here in regional Australia, northern New South Wales, in my supermarket when it's
Yeah.
Treat Me Good or Lucky Me or something's blaring on the
Yeah.
on the supermarket stereo, and
Yeah.
it's just funny. And the checkout chick doesn't know it's me or anything, and I think that's super cute.
Yeah,
It's
and it's
funny.
kind of nice too because if you want to
Yeah.
be anonymous, you can.
Oh no,
But
it's the best place to be. I mean, when I was peroxide blonde and going into clubs with my friends, I feel sorry for them because I'd always take the longest to leave somewhere, or we get interrupted. Are you that girl? Are you that girl? And
yeah,
look, good problem to have, but it, to be super famous, and which
yeah,
I've never been, but I mean, ridiculously famous. It would really take something, I have to
yeah,
say. And the older I get, I love this balance of, yes, there is some profile. Yes, I've leaned into it, but really I have quite a private life, and there's got to be some semblance of balance. Or else I think you could go a little stir crazy.
yeah. I agree with you. I think there's
Mm.
that really good degree of balance, and they say that about people who want too much money as well. They say anything
Yeah.
over what is it 500,000 a year or something, and life gets complicated. And
Well,
I
you have to
think that
maintain that kind of, then if
that's
you don't
right.
maintain it, you feel like you're a failure. Well, anyway, I
That's
think,
right.
like, obviously, lifestyle, and there's so many other things that enrich you other than, of course,
Yes.
other than money and fame. And I think
Yeah.
we all know that as a human species. Most of the time.
Hundred,
I
hundred
think so.
percent.
Yeah.
So, what sort of advice would you give your younger self if you were starting out in Bachelor Girl now?
Oh, that's such a good question.
It's a tricky one.
Look, I think being tenacious and not hearing the no's as some kind of
Yeah,
great detriment or indictment of you personally. Like
yeah,
we've discussed, Bernadette, it's a lot of things. Maybe it's not your time at that moment, and you are going to get rejections, probably more than successes. But the passion, the why, will always have you keep going, and will always be the most worthwhile part of it.
yeah.
So,
Because
yeah,
when
making a record is the most of it is the funnest part is often making it, not making, literally producing it. Releasing it is fun, but talking
yeah,
about yourself all the time and
yeah,
talking about something that you might have finished 6 months ago, I wouldn't say that's the cherry on top. The
no,
actual beauty is, oh my goodness, the process, and being present in the creation. So
yeah,
really, nothing can stop you from, other than you, from doing that.
yeah,
No door
exactly.
closed can stop you from ultimately creating.
Exactly. Very insightful. And I think when you were starting out, there was no shows like Australian Idol, American Idol.
No,
I don't think there was anything like that.
no.
Would you have ever gone through any reality type process like that if is that an opportunity maybe you would have taken if it was there at the time, or you're
Well,
more an organic artist?
I've been on reality TV. I mean, I've been a mentor on a show. I was in Eurovision, Australia Decides. So I've had a
Fantastic.
flirt with it.
Yeah.
Did I
Was
love those experiences?
it?
Probably not. I mean, I'm glad I did them because I met some great friends that I'm still
Yeah.
friends with today, and I got a lot out of them in from a kind of a learning point of view. But yeah, it's not really my jam.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
probably I wouldn't be so naive as to say I would never try out. for one of those shows, because I don't know, with the current landscape, I might. But and I also never say never. You just don't know what
I
opportunity
agree.
might arise, and you. No, I really don't know. I'll say probably, but
Yeah. It depends, you know. You
yeah,
see
but also
these
there's a
days, the kids, I think they see that as maybe their only chance to
yeah,
get.
there's a lot of there is a lot of it's very fragmented now, so
Mm,
uh
yeah.
yeah, they might see it like that. The only way to cut through, the music industry has always been difficult in terms of cutting through. It's just that, and actually, the opportunities that are around are huge now in terms of having
Yeah.
your own online presence and connecting with
Yeah.
fans. I mean, if you weren't signed in the '90s or the '80s, you probably didn't reach anyone. It's very
Yeah.
difficult. So I would say it's just kind of same, but different. It's
Yeah.
it's just
That's
yeah.
exactly right.
I don't
Yeah.
yeah. I just always think, oh, it's so hard these days. Yes, in a different way. In a
Yeah.
different way.
Yeah.
But if you're just interested in
In the
making,
fame side of it,
yeah,
you know.
making content and not just making music that reaches people, then you're probably going to burn
Mm,
out. You need to have authenticity about the art that you're making, because otherwise, I think there's no longevity. You're just going to make
exactly.
reel after reel, but what? Oh, I mean, by
Yeah.
the way, if you want to be a TikTok star, go for it. Like, just be, but but know that that's what it is. If you're an authentic artist and you want to get out there and play, then you should do that.
Yeah, and if you want to be on TikTok, know that you could be viral today and not viral tomorrow,
Oh
and that,
yeah, oh yeah.
and I think maybe sometimes the longer you take to get there, maybe like you said, the longevity, it lasts.
Or Bernadette, it might ebb and flow. I mean,
Yeah.
it might peak and then nothing for ages and then peak again. That is what it is to have a career.
Yeah,
Ups,
that's right. You have your
downs.
highs and lows.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're writing songs, either for yourself or for artists, where would you mainly draw inspiration from?
So it comes from all sorts of places. It could come from a conversation we're having right now. Could come.
I really hope
Yeah,
it
exactly. Let me just. It's
will. Does it dreams,
yeah, life
diary
experiences.
entries,
Mostly that very sad situations.
yeah.
It can be extremely cathartic to write about it. Usually it's a cliche, but when I'm really happy, I probably I mean, say I've got some high, I'm in it. I'm probably not at the piano writing about it. It can be the
Yeah.
case that when you're sad or angry or need to process something, it's the best time to write. Having
Yeah.
said that, often when something's happened that's really tense, and then you can have some perspective about it, that's a really good time to write too, when you come through the other side. But look, it
Yes.
comes from all places. It could be a great
Yeah.
line in a book, a movie title. To give you an example, my girlfriend in Sweden, she was talking about a past relationship, and she said, "Oh, that was a beautiful waste of time." And I said,
Oh.
"Oh, Let me just write. Well, put that in my
Perfect.
smartphone." And I did, and we
Yeah.
wrote a song about it. And so you see, it's if
Yeah.
you've got your thumb out ready, oh,
Yeah.
ideas can fall out of the sky.
Yeah, I guess if you're listening to the world around you, the universe,
Yes,
there's little golden nuggets everywhere,
yes,
you know? You just gotta
exactly.
have your ears open.
That's
That's
exactly
very
right.
good. So I remember seeing Renee Gayer years ago
Mm,
at a little performance that she did. And I remember the audience was all so excited to hear her sing, that one or two songs that we loved that she had.
mm.
And we were all requesting, the audience was yelling it out. And I remember her saying, if you think I'm going to sing that stuff here tonight, think again. I'm not doing it. And I just always remember thinking, oh my God, I can't believe like we came to watch her and she didn't do it. And I'll always remember that. Like, as an artist, do you
Mm.
ever think like I can't be bothered singing my old stuff. I just want to sing my new stuff and that's it? Or do you think, no, like, the audience, that's what they want to hear, or maybe that's what they're here for, you know?
Yes.
So how do you sort of work out your songs that you're going to sing?
Well, when I'm doing my solo material, I don't do buses and trains
Oh.
because it's not, that's Tania Doko is separate to Bachelor Girl. I do hint at buses and trains.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think if you're coming to see me, you're not expecting to hear buses and trains. That's Bachelor.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I do give. So far, I've given audiences a taste of it. It's just in a
Yeah.
different surprise format.
Yeah,
You'll
different
have to come along
vibe.
to one of my shows to hear that what I do.
Yes.
But like, it's no different to if I'm playing with James in Bachelor Girl. I
Yeah.
wouldn't expect him, he and
To
I, to
go.
play my solo material, you know. But
Yeah,
it's
that's
but
true.
it's no. I mean, we in the Bachelor Girl show we play all the hits you love, and we don't miss anything. And actually,
Yeah.
the great thing about the festivals that we do, sometimes we're only booked for 40, 45 minutes, so it's just hit after hit for every
Yeah.
band, and there's no album filler or anything. I mean, I love
Yeah.
people's albums, but so I think audiences do really get the best of all of us.
Yeah, that's good. And I guess it's different, because you were part of a duo, so that's correct. You stay loyal to that sort of
Yeah,
audience and then your solo career. And look, I'm really appreciative of your time today. So I guess what I want to know is
yeah.
what are your future plans and when are you coming to Perth? When can we expect you in Perth? We love having you here.
Thanks,
And
Bernadette.
yeah, so let us know.
Well, look, I'll be there. I'll just say March next year, and we'll
Oh,
reveal soon why we're there. But I won't. I won't sort of tell you. I'm not allowed to because it hasn't been announced yet. But it's
oh,
really exciting. And so Bachelor Girl's going to be doing quite a few festivals over the summer. We're reimagining this album, so that will come out next year.
it's
I'll be
so
doing
good.
some more solo shows, and so I live near the Gold Coast, so Northern New South Wales. So I'm hosting the Gold Coast Music Awards in 2 weeks. So that's kind of
Oh,
exciting. That's
sick.
that's the end of August. So that's me flirting with the hosting world.
Oh,
And
great.
yeah, I get to play a few different roles. I'm still songwriting. I'm doing a bit of mentoring with emerging artists. So there's never a dull moment. And mostly, I'm a mum, and that
That
takes up
that's the
most
number
of the
one
day.
job, man. That is the
Yeah,
number one job. And you've just got the one child?
got the one.
Yeah.
He'll remind me every day of why he doesn't have an older brother. So we'll try and buy him an older dog or something to fill that void.
Oh, that would
But
be good.
no, life is good. We are living Perth. It's a beautiful climate over there too. And my
So
Swedish
good.
husband and child insisted on a warmer Aussie climate, so that's why we're northern New South Waleans now.
Well, if you ever change your mind, we'd love to have you in Perth. That would be
Love
excellent.
Perth.
Oh,
Truth be told, I have family in Perth.
yeah.
So any excuse to get over. But we were there in February with Simple Minds. That tour we
That,
did, and
that's
Ice
true.
House, and
Yeah.
but yeah, no, there's a few little things happening early next year. I'll keep you posted.
Well, then can we have you back in maybe when February? Maybe when you can talk about the
Yeah,
reason why you'll be back?
yeah, no, we can. I can talk about it soon. I think it's going to be announced in the next few weeks. So
I've
yeah,
just missed out. All right.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
good.
Just
Oh, well,
missed out.
maybe we will catch up soon in the next
Yeah,
couple of
yeah.
months or
Hopefully,
something.
Bernadette. Hopefully.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being on the buzz today, Tanya. It's been an absolute pleasure
Thanks,
talking.
Bernadette. Hope the audio was okay. Just
Yeah,
blame it on regional Australia and Wi-Fi.
I will. We'll blame everything on technology. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bernadette.
All
Bye,
right. We'll
everyone.
see you later. Bye.
I
Yeah.
like your background, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. It's got to be pink, man. Everything's
It's
got
going
to
to
be
be big.